Philadelphia just made a decision that will have huge ramifications heading into the 2025 season, as Fangio's latest resurrection project just got the green light he's been waiting for. Plus, why we shouldn't count out Adoree Jackson just yet, and how Zack Baun is lobbying for an even bigger role in the Birds' defense. Thomas Mott, this is the Thomas Mott Show. Alright, well, after all that talk the past couple of weeks about Philadelphia and free agent cornerback Jaire Alexander, the latter has officially signed with his new team. And of course, it is not the Philadelphia Eagles. The former Packer All-Pro inked a one-year, wait for it, $4 million deal worth up to $6 million total with incentives. By all means, an absolute steal for one of the best cornerbacks, at least when healthy, in the entire NFL. Now, if your reaction to the price of $4 million on a one-year deal wasn't like, what the heck, why didn't the Eagles actually make a call? Well, there's a little more than meets the eye, and I think I know why. First off, we do know for a fact that other teams did offer more. Adam Schefter confirmed during his Wednesday morning hit just the other day on the Pat McAfee Show.
Well, I think the thing is that he's got interest from other teams. Like Carolina is interested in Jaire Alexander, and there are other teams that are offering him, I think, more money than Baltimore can, but that relationship right there cannot be underestimated.
Now, Schefter only named Carolina, but ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, as we talked about last week, said both Carolina and the Eagles were the two names to keep an eye on heading into the Alexander sweepstakes. So, while we can't confirm 100% that Howie called, my guess is he did. Did the Eagles offer a ton more money than the Baltimore Ravens? We'll probably never know. Either way, Alexander clearly chose Baltimore for two main reasons. The first is his collegiate connection with Lamar Jackson, as the two played on the same Louisville team and by all reports remain very, very close. I mean, just watch Alexander's reaction on draft night back in 2018 when the Ravens moved up into the first round via Philadelphia to go get Lamar in round one.
Dang is here, and Lamar! What? Sorry, Lamar, it's surreal, it's great. My boy Lamar. What? What big?
He went to the Ravens last pick of the round.
Hey, supporting his teammate right here.
But of course, put friendships aside for a second, Jaire clearly chose a winner and maybe one of the best teams in the entire AFC. Dare I say the AFC version of the Philadelphia Eagles. Baltimore currently holds the Vegas odds for the best chance to win the conference, and now I think have one of the top secondaries in the entire league. Which, total side note here, it is funny how the entire narrative post-Super Bowl is that Jalen Hurts is on a super team, and that's why he won a Super Bowl. He's not actually that good. And yet when you actually look at it, Lamar Jackson, he's also on a super team and has done nothing close to Jalen Hurts, and yet never gets the whole he's on a super team boost. Right now, the Ravens literally have the second best back in the league. We signed superstar Derrick Henry, an elite defense, and a ton of weapons on the outside. And yet not only has Lamar Jackson never been to one Super Bowl, let alone two, and actually won one, he's never even won an AFC title game. Jalen Hurts, of course, has two NFC Championship game wins, two Super Bowl appearances, and yes, he did win Super Bowl MVP, but of course I digress. Overall, I think we can look at the Eagles not landing Jaire Alexander one of two ways. Option A, they wanted him, offered more money, and lost due to the Lamar connection. If that's the case, they will likely pivot hard to the other free agent cornerback available right now in Asante Samuel Jr. We talked about a lot late last week as the perfect option, being that he's only 25 years old, once doctors officially clear him via his season-ending neck surgery sometime in July. And honestly, if this is the case, they will likely be very aggressive in attacking Samuel Jr., again, once he's cleared. Now, if you want, you could throw Jalen Ramsey into the discussion, again, if Philadelphia does want a cornerback, but I'm not going to. Again, I've talked about this, too old, too expensive, and too much drama with Vic Fangio. Then, of course, there's option B, which is probably more likely in the fact that all the propaganda Philadelphia has pushed on us the past couple of months during the offseason is not propaganda and actually true. They love Kelee Ringo, they're very excited about Adoree Jackson, and the in-house options at cornerback are what they were going to go with the entire time, and they were never interested in Alexander, Ramsey, or Asante Samuel Jr. And I think I've honestly come to the conclusion that I'm totally fine with this, and I'm 100% ready to buy into the Ringo hype train. I mean, Ringo's lone issue coming out of UGA was solely experience. He had the size, he had the speed, the physical traits of a shutdown corner. He was just a baby, like he left Georgia too early. Now, of course, with 3 learning seasons under his belt and some vital playing time kind of sprinkled in here and there, he's ready to flourish 100% in Fangio's scheme. I mean, this technically has worked for every other Philly dog on the current roster, sans Jalen Carter. Nolan Smith did nothing year 1 and then absolutely exploded the second half of year 2. Kobe Dean didn't pop at all his entire career in Philadelphia, lots of injuries, and then this past season came out of nowhere, won the starting job eventually, and played at a Pro Bowl level pre-injury. Heck, even Jordan Davis was once considered literally a bust. You shouldn't have taken him in the first round, but has slowly grown into the good graces of all Eagle fans, and a lot of us expect a breakout year in 2025 for JD. And I think if we look back at the 2024 season and we give Vic Fangio a ton of credit for building this defense and growing all these young players into superstars, we have to give him the benefit of the doubt. If he truly believes in Kelee Ringo, and he thinks Kelee Ringo, as he said a couple of weeks ago, only needs reps to actually be a star, then I'm going to go ahead and trust the old DC, because so far, 1 year in, he's giving me no reason to doubt at least his overall ability to sense good players who, right now, some other people might not think are ready to go.
He just needs reps. He needs to learn to play the game. And that comes with reps. And, to quote Nick said in a meeting recently, repetition is the burden of leadership. It's up to us to get him enough reps in practice, expose him to all the things he needs to be exposed to so he can play a full NFL game. When I say full, not physically, conditioning-wise, but be a competent corner throughout a full game and a full season.
Plus, I do think we need to mention that Adoree Jackson does exist and has a real shot to win this job if Ringo were to go ahead and crash out. I mean, he was a full-time starter for 7 seasons in the NFL for losing his job to Deonte Banks and Cordell Flott in New York this past season, which might have to do with the fact that the losing franchise that was the Giants last year already knocked out of the playoffs. 5-6 weeks in, they want to go ahead and try their younger cornerbacks instead of an aging guy entering a contract season. Of course, by no means am I pretending right now that Adoree Jackson has been an elite cornerback in recent years. Wasn't that great in 2023 either, but he did get a sizable amount of starter reps during OTAs and minicamp the past couple of weeks, and we did see what Vic Fangio was able to do with Darius Slay last year. Some people thought he was going to be too old and had a Pro Bowl caliber year, and of course, heck, even washed up Zack Baun that nobody thought could ever be turned into an elite starter on defense. So maybe Jackson is the answer if Ringo doesn't live up to expectations. Honestly, only training camp will tell.
I feel like I'm always in competition regardless if I was starting or if I wasn't starting. It's always a competition. Somebody's always trying to take his spot regardless, even if it wasn't considered fighting for a position. The guy that's behind me still trying to take my spot regardless. So if they are doing a good job and I'm not performing, it doesn't do me no justice. So at the end of the day, I'm always competing and working like it's a competition if somebody's trying to take my spot.
Give me your thoughts on losing out on Jaire Alexander down below in the comment section. You go with option A, that they wanted him, lost out because he was a Raven fan, and now pivot to, Asante Jr. or Jalen Ramsey, or do you go option B and believe the propaganda, believe the hype is probably a better word, that Ringo or Adoree Jackson, they're going to be the guy, and Vic Fangio is fine with not adding anybody else? Give me your thoughts down below right now. Okay, quickly speaking of training camp here, the NFL yesterday officially confirmed the joint practice teams and dates, and now we know, as expected, Philadelphia will host the Cleveland Browns for a single joint practice at the NovaCare Complex on August 13th. Roughly about 4 weeks following the July 22nd start date for the Birds training camp next month. Personally, I love joint practices. I thought we should do more than just one day, but it's the new Eagle way. But a chance to go up against someone other than your teammate for a change during the long couple of weeks that is training camp. Philadelphia technically has dominated each team they faced in joint practices the past couple of years, most recently the Patriots, who, by all intents and purposes, got whooped by Philadelphia that entire day. Plus, the national media's attention has squarely been on the Browns and their newest quarterback, Shedeur Sanders, the past couple of months, and so expect a lot more detailed coverage from this year's Eagles joint practice than before, thanks to Shedeur. My advice, though, for Sanders is just make sure you drive a little bit slower on your way from Cleveland to Philadelphia. Just based on some recent reports, you might have kind of a lead foot, so keep it slow, get to Philadelphia, and then throw us the football. Now, swinging back to Zack Baun for just 1 second, mentioned him earlier, he actually made a subtle hint during minicamp and a couple of days ago about his desire for an expanded role in Vic Fangio's defense, saying, quote, "I was feeling far more comfortable at that inside linebacker position and just wrote it out. If Vic wants to give me more responsibility, I can play more at edge," which has had me thinking about all the possibilities at linebacker if Fangio decides to give Baun even a little bit more responsibility and maybe some more edge rusher looks. I mean, on one hand, Baun this past season, first year playing inside linebacker, did have 3.5 sacks, and on the rare occasion that Vic did bring more than 4 pass rushers, the 5th rusher was usually Zack Baun. I also wonder if the addition of first-round inside linebacker Jahad Campbell might allow Vic to use Baun in more ways than one. Like, let's say Nakobe Dean comes back eventually healthy and sharp and looks good. Why couldn't you have some packages where Dean and Campbell are the 2 inside backers and Baun is on the edge as a pass rusher? Then, of course, you can do all sorts of bluffs and different looks based on that set. Eventually bring Jihad Campbell, drop Zack Baun. Who knows? The possibilities are endless. I mean, Philadelphia did just give Zack Baun a massive contract extension, which was basically their stamp of approval that they absolutely love this guy and think the world of him. So why wouldn't Vic Fangio want to utilize Zack to his fullest potential now that they're paying him like one of the top linebackers in the NFL? Obviously, they still want to keep him mainly at inside backer like 90% of the time, but using him as a weapon as a whole in this defense could be his next iteration toward Baun's final form. Either way, I did love the most recent unscripted video dropped by the Eagles themselves on their YouTube channel, focusing on Baun, especially during OTAs and minicamp, and clearly showing a big-time bump in his leadership abilities as he's trying to mentor the young linebackers behind him in any way possible.
When you're punching it out, don't just like punch and fly by, because that's when you miss tackles. I missed a tackle doing that.
What'd you say?
Boom.
Off here.
I wouldn't forget about Smile Munden. He's getting a crash course on how to be a linebacker from the all-pro Zack Baun. He could be not a breakout guy this year. I keep saying this, he's not going to take somebody's job, but special teams for sure, and maybe he showcases he's the future. Once Dean goes away, who knows? Very excited about this linebacker group. It's something that kind of take for granted, but Philadelphia's linebacker group, as you guys know, have not been great in recent history, and now they are, and so it's always fun to go ahead and talk about it. But plenty more stuff happening the next couple of days and weeks. Be sure to subscribe, as we are about 500 subscribers away from 97,000, meaning I give away the Kyle Schwarber bat. And so drop a like, hit the thumbs up button, and leave a comment down below. Thomas Mott, this has been The Thomas Mott Show.